Welcome YouTube and all those who forged alliances, Supreme Commanders on down to the little guy or gal just humbly looking around the internet for some forged alliance 5 versus 5 cast. I welcome you all to the Forged Alliance FAF Cast Division. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. The Games with Brains channel will soon stop all FAF casts entirely. I feel like I'm sick of saying that, but I still need to say it. There's still a lot of people to move on over. But on to today's game then, the AI generator is going to give us a 15 by 15 map. So it's actually based in the template of a 20 by 20 and the AI has done some fandangled stuff to make it 15 by 15. 10 players totaling an average 1310 rating. Game code cheese. It's week 5, 2023. So let's initialize the antimatter defluctuator and observe the proceedings. AKA hit the replay button, but you know, just between you and me. Gotta try and build it up, make it sound good, don't I? Make it sound like something super special. Well, I'll tell you what is special. If 5 versus 5, not too many of those games around, interestingly. I mean, there's many 4v4s, there's many 6v6s, and sometimes even more. For some reason, 3x3s and 5x5s are a little limited. All right, let's unpause and see how this game is going to unfold. We'll bring ourselves on over and start on the northern team, and we'll start ways in this corner, I think. And again, work our way round in a clockwise rotation. That seems to have served me well. So here in first place then, over on team 1, it's Twisty Sauce. He's Aeon 1200 rated. Incidentally, found a way to increase the UI size. So hopefully I'll be running out of excuses as to why I'm pronouncing people's names properly. I have slowed down the team a little bit, and look at this. People very fast in chat, and that's because we are on an AI generated map, which means nobody's ever played on this map before and nobody's ever going to go again. And yeah, you've got people pointing important things out. Moving on then from Twisty Sauce, our 1200 Aeon to his 12 o'clock position is Seraphine. It's Matter 1. Yeah, Matter 1. Let's go with Matter. 1800 rated. This, the highest rated player in the game today. He's going Seraphine first land as well. And then last, on the northern side for Team 1, we've got our first UEF guy. It's Detective, 1400 rated. And so these guys all seem to be very, let's just call them above average for a 1310 rated game. It seems like Team 1 has got very strong players in the rear. Moving down then to what can only be described as the 5 o'clock position. It's Son of Abyss in red. He's going Seraphine as well. Lots of Seraphine, it seems, today on the northern team. And then last but not least, in pink, it's another UEF. It's One Big Daddy, the 1100 rated, also going first land. So it looks like everybody first land today. So we switch over then. Team 2, and just to mix things up a little bit, let's start on the forward guy, and we'll go anti-clockwise. You know what, I'm going to risk confusing myself. In the front, it's Special K, another UEF player, 1100 rated this time. He's going first land. And so around the anti-clockwise position, we've got Pink, the Pink Bomber. He's featured the other day on one of my casts, 1100 rated as well, UEF. Also going first land. Many UEF players today. Over then to the 6th position for Team 2. It's Vexy, 1300 rated. He's Cybrant and the first guy we've seen go first air. Assuming he is a guy, I always make these assumptions that may or not be correct. May or may not dig myself into a hole. May or may not take some advice right now that says, little thing on my shoulder tap saying, stop digging. Stop digging. All right, Vexy, 1300 first air. We'll see what he intends to do with that. In a more central position. This is interesting. He seems, maybe this guy is well central. It just came across more central, viewed from the south side. It's Maximus, a 1500 rated Seraphine player. He's starting first land. And then last but not least, for Team 2, and indeed the entire game, it's Fong, 1500 rated. Aeon starting first land. Looks like he was going to go second land and then thought, you know what, 10% that'll do. I'm going to move on and make some more power. And that's because Fong doesn't appear to have access to a hydro. And if we select, well, he very nearly stalled on energy, and being a high rated player, 1500, realized if I stall on energy, things is going from bad to worse real quick. So at risk of chucking the 10% on that land factory away, I'm going to start work on the power. Now, he does have a solitary NG that's looking to pick up the slack on that factory, but his eco is right precarious. He's just got his 4th energy online, and there's the stall. Fong. So best thing Fong could do now, in my opinion, is take one of these NGs away. That's going to, because each one of these NGs is using 30 energies, 52 behind. If he takes one off, that's going to reduce the amount he stalls by. And then, I know there's not many trees, but there's something that would give him a little bit of energy. Because right now, Fong is well, not playing like a 1500. But again, it's not often you get a starting spot without hydro. And you can see here that most of the other players do have access to one. Maximus has got hydro very close to his base. I think this hydro here rightly belongs to Fong, because if we look over to the left, Special K here in blue has got a hydro here, so this really should have gone to Fong. And now Fong is losing out, I think, on mass points because basically he can't fund his expansion due to the stallage. And I don't think he's helping matters by putting more engineers on power production. It may seem like an obvious thing to do, but bear in mind, these three now working together are sucking out 90 power per tick, and he's only producing 160. He's trying to do too much. But it looks like he's finally stabilized by about 3, and then stalling. Maybe one of his pals was spilling a bit. We'll have to see. All right, an awful lot of focus on what Fong was doing wrong. Let's focus on what somebody's doing right. That would be Special K with his mech marines. Nice attack, picks up Son of Abyss's engineers there, preventing him from completing that factory. Very nice move. And Special K, the 1100, playing like a pro, splits off his engineers. Problem with this one is he's moving right on into Marty's ACU, and I don't think Marty's ACU is going to have any doubt as to what to do. We'll start picking up the pace. Boom, there we go. Marty gives him a second black for good measure. All right, let's go full pace then. It is a 5 versus 5, so there's an awful lot going down. What I have done is tried to make the map here a little larger, and again with the UI, finally found where the UI setting was. I've scaled it up so we can continue to enjoy the game 1440. I realize if I reduced it to 1080p, we're going to see the scoreboard around the same size. You know, but I'm a sucker for the higher resolutions. I like to see it, but I don't like to see the really small text. Son of a Special K continues to try a run by here. Detective manages to shoot the scout, but somehow Special K gets the 2 mech marines away, sends one way, one the other. The problem is if he leaves it by that hill, if only he knew that there was an engineer over here, he could have got it. But I think Son of Abyss with his Tech 1 tank there has covered it. I really like that opening there from Special K. The 1100 rated opened like a 1600 rated, and then some. We're seeing drops left, right, and center over on the southwest island. Oh, I say island. It's almost like a island, right? It's a landlocked piece of terrain. Reminds me like that. Is it Ayers Rock in Australia? This huge rock that, you know, the only way onto it really is by a helicopter. I'm aware that there's going to be 2 or 3 crazy types that try and climb up the side of it, but really, helicopter. And it looks like, at least initially, going Maximus's way. Minor run-bys here from the Pink Bomber, also an 1100 rated, and showing what the Mech Marine can do. Unfortunately, not much versus a land factory pumping out strikers, but, and again, splitting off his units, just raiding, tickling, providing an annoyance, a distraction, soaking up APM from his opponent. One big Andy. I really like it. I really, really like it. Bit of jostling then in the central estate between Special K, Son of Abyss. Few units, but Twisty Sauce moving in with his ACU. And it looks like Son of Abyss is moving in as well. That's only ever going to go Team 1's way. And it looks like Team 1 are recognising that. Twisty grabbing some of the reclaim there. Special K going for Tech 2. He's going to need it because if I recall right, one of these, and it's Son of Abyss, has already got the gun. Well, if you've got the gun that quick, you want to use it. You don't want to use your commander in back, eco-in. If you got a gun on 6 minutes, use it. And Twisty Sauce pulling across, trying to prevent his forward land fat going down. And I think he does have enough units with his commander. I don't think there's any risk there at all. Looks like Pink Bomber is attempting to establish a presence here on the southwest. I'm going to call it the island, the southwestern island. Looks like the ones in the middle and up on the northeast are accessible by land thanks to these little slopes. So it is a mirror matchup from lower left to top right. But it's not a mirror in the other direction, even though at first glance it almost looks like it could be. And now we're getting to see it. Son of Abyss using his ACU aggressively versus Special K, who went Tech 2. He's trying to finish a Tech 2 point defense. Son of Abyss knows what to do with that, will overcharge it. And Special K potentially in a spot of bother here. He's got no units left. He's got an ACU with gun, who's got 3 supporting units. There's another ACU moving in. The only thing he does have is a couple of factories, at least immediately. He does have engineers running up who were tasked with building a point defense. They've abandoned that. He does have one more point defense back here. Correction, Maximus. Maximus comes in from the other side, and Maximus lane overcharges in. Maximus does not have the gun, but he did have, and he continues to overcharge Son of Abyss. And now with bombers as well, Tech 1 bombers, this is massive team play. We're seeing the Pink Bomber and Vexy both lending a hand in the T1 air. We've got Special K with his land. And we got Maximus, who doesn't have the gun, but has got enough energy to just continue overcharging Son of Abyss's ACU. And with that, inside the 9th minute, Son of Abyss going down despite having the gun. That was some of the best team play I've ever seen early on. 4 players at least going after one commander inside 9 minutes, and they get him. Really nice to see. And with that, and it is, looks like full share is on. And it looks like Martyr 1 gets it all. So let's continue to see then. We've got 3 ACUs in the area. Maximus there, heavily damaged. Looks like he wants to pick up a bit of mass before retreating. Special K looks to want to exploit this. I'd really like to see him put a Tech 2 point defense down just because it covers such a large area on a map like this, down through the middle. And here we have one big Andy now. This guy belongs to the northern team. Oh, he's getting into a transport. That's a huge mistake right in front of an air screen there from the southern team. Oh my goodness. The second player going down for Team 1 inside. Just 1 minute and a few seconds later, one big daddy going down on minute 10. Team 1, 2 players down. 5 versus 3 remain. Team 2 got to be feeling good about that at this stage. Some really nice play, and nice to see the air was there. It was pinged. You know, everybody knew what was going on. And I think, yeah, One Big Daddy, a little ambitious to go pick up Commander with, I don't know if it was lack of intel, certainly lack of air superiority. I mean, would you have picked your Commander up knowing that the opposing team had air superiority right there? Well, of course not. So I can only put it down to a lack of intel and air superiority. And Team 2 just continuing to cause problems and headaches with the Tech 1 bomber. I see this used so much more than it used to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tech 1 bombers were used, but not to this. They didn't stay relevant for as long. It was more a thing to sort of snipe away at Tech 1 engineers, and that was kind of it. Maybe you used it against Aeon players due to the weak Auroras. Starting to see some Tech 2 now from Detective, not focused too much on him. He's actually got a whole bunch of them here. Let's have a little look. He's got 8 Mongoose in this area. And they're going after the Commander, Fong. Now, Fong is sniper. He's got both range and rate of fire there on the Aeons. Overcharges 2 of the Mongoose. Very nice. And he has got a shit ton of backup with him. Granted, it's all spam. Another overcharge. Fong already with 55 kills. Very close to his 3rd star vet. There he gets it. And now he's got Vulthus on him. Tech 2 gunships. 3 of them. He does have a very limited amount of anti-air. Oh, massive bomber strike coming in. Tech 1. Overkill, though, unfortunately. Detective needs to split those units off. Fong now with 4 Vulthus on the case. 5. 6-1 coming in. Detective giving his bombers over to Fong. Fong's ACU looks like he's about to go down. Boom. 12 minutes, 20 some seconds. Fong goes down. And like that, Team 1 claw a victory back for themselves. 4 versus 3. Well, that's a lot better than 5 versus 3. Meanwhile, Mata 1 looks like he's overrunning the base of Maximus, or at least Fong's base that's now been handed to Maximus. But Maximus, thankfully, was handed at least 2 or 3 Vulthus there, and they're, at least for now, gonna deal with what's going on, and they do shut it down. That was kind of important. There was nothing in the area to deal with. Looks like Maximus did rush a Tech 1 point defense. He's now rushing Tech 2 Oblivion just to secure the base while he then figures out what's to go on. Well, what a crazy action-packed opening. ASF now on the field. I think this is the first one we see here from Vexy. And there's the second one coming to join. Any such progress from the top side? Well, I guess it's not immediately obvious who would be the air player thanks to the handoff here. Well, Twisty Sauce looks like he's controlling 2 bases. And at least for now, it's just Tech 1 interceptors. We'll have to see if Team 2 manage to exploit their air disparity. Team 1's still using a lot of Tech 1, especially up here, Detective. I really like what I'm seeing there. Although Tech 1 bombers versus Tech 2 flak is not always the best thing to do. Detective's ACU moving in to deal with the problem. Come a little bit closer. It looks like Detective on reclaim duty. Team 2 looking very strong here. It's a lot of spam. Is there any tech? Well, there's a couple, but there's so much spam there. Looks like Twisty Sauce is looking to punch in on the flank belonging to Special K. And done correctly, and you see he's using the Aurora's range advantage. He's leading it with artillery. That is getting very nice trades on Special K's force. Problem is it enough? Is it enough quick enough? Sure, he can cut off reinforcements. That would probably be a better use of this army. Matter 1 there. Splits his forces up. Let Special K continue to bulldoze through. And now Special K's units completely surrounded. And we've got Tech 2 gunships as well. So very nice. Punching a hole through. Shame that they didn't really have much to follow it up. I would have really liked to have seen Maximus use his units as well to exploit the advantage and confusion. I mean, if Maximus wanted, he could move this in and shut this down. But that opportunity is rapidly deteriorating and running out now. And there we go. The last unit there of the run by taken out. Special K realizes it and thinks, shit, I've got to regroup. Little bit of a lost opportunity there, I feel. Correction, it was the pink bomber, I feel, that could have moved in. He would have certainly been able to take out these land factories, which would have really held up Team 1's ability to put units on the front line. Here we're seeing some long-range shots coming in. Tactical. Oh, they're going after the commander. Twisty does have shield, and he is being alerted to the fact the missiles. Here they come, 2 more. Boom. Twisty Sauce shield evaporates, loses a large chunk of his health as well, and is now putting up the Aeon tactical missile defense. That's the last missile we'll see threatening him, at least for the foreseeable. And Matter 1 here, just real nice work with the Tech 2 gunships. I mean, we saw them used over here. I wasn't expecting them to see them used for as long, but, you know, if the trick works, keep doing the trick. Detective pushing through here. With his opponent having gone down, it's just units sent in from Max. And Maximus trickling units up, whether they're Tech 2 or not, does not want to be trickling units up. I'm assuming the 1500 is task saturated or doing something somewhere else, because, yeah, he finally realizes it now. Trickling in Tech 2 units against a commander who's got large forces, including Tech 2 of his own, you know, is not the best thing that you can do in this game. And Matter 1's still getting aggressive here. Forces Special K to put some static flak down. Does eventually shoot one of the gunships down. Matter thinks that's enough. And now the gunships, at least this guy, going down to ground fire as it finds what is arguably the worst parking spot this side of the galaxy. Vexy looking increasingly strong in the air. Does anybody on North Team have ASF? Because if they don't, Vexy, where's the excuse for not using strat bombers? You've got 24 ASF. You've got Tech 3 Scout. Have you seen anything that's a threat? We've got interceptors. Let's have a quick look. We've got interceptors and Vulfus from Matty. Twisty Sauce has got 7 interceptors. And we've got... so there is no Tech 3 Air from the other side. You've got the Intel. You've got the ASF. I'm not sure what he's waiting for. We've got ASF from Maximus as well. So it's a 2 versus 0 with regards to air superiority fighters. And here we go. Vexy moving in. Gets a real nice engage. And at this point, correction, Matter does have some ASF. I don't know why those didn't show up before. You need to play together. I don't believe it. I mean, I made the mistake there with global views, so I can forgive the mistake. But I don't understand why Maximus and Vexy aren't using their air together. Actually looks like Matter 1 here. 41 ASF is more than the Southern team have. Maybe if they work together, they've got enough. Vexy, 32. Max, 10. Yeah, so it's about even Stevens, providing the two teams work together. Detective, meanwhile, pushing through. Nice UEF combo. Pillars, flax. Like to see a shield or two. And that runs into the dreaded Harb. Nice unit, got shields before it starts losing its health, of course, with its cheeky reclaim ability. And Maximus here making real nice use of the tech, the shields, layering it, and takes out Detective's units there. Detective retreating with a handful. Yeah, you can't just build one thing and hope it works. And it looks like Detective there relying very heavily on the pillars. He did have a flat unit with it, so I can't entirely call it a one thing, but, you know, put something else in. Things pretty static over in the southwestern side. I guess did finally go Maximus's way. I guess the northern team quite happy that they don't have to worry about that corner. Let's have a little look here. What's Pink Bomber done? Well, he's setting up what looks like a massive shot. You're going to want to put a nuke defense on this if you intend to hold it, because if I was Team 1, ACU or not, I'm planting a nuke there. We've got fusion reaction, we've got capped off mechs, we've got shields, artillery, TMLs, the rest of it is begging for a nuke. We'll have to see if that unfolds or not. And very, very... You know, down the middle, like you say, all right, well, the southwest is slightly favouring Team 2. The northeast is favouring Team 1. Otherwise, it's even Steven. So if we ignore the situation with the players, it's looking very even. Incidentally, as we come towards minute 22, let's take a look. Mass income, 578 for Team 2 versus 486 for Team 1. So about a 25% advantage for the lower team. If we take a look at reclaims real quick, 29,000 versus 33, so the northern team about 4,000 mass ahead on reclaim, which again is around 10 or 12%. And if we look at the totals then, 463 versus 337. So again, about 25, even 30% advantage on mass overall, favouring the southern team. So really they should have something to show for that, and at least at first glance I don't see it. It looks like, yes, there's a big clump of units here from Special K, but it looks like all the action is coming down from the north side, and again that forces Special K either to retreat or attack, and it looks like Special K thinks, well, I'll attack, and at least for now looks like Matter 1 is caught unawares, because you wouldn't keep your sniper bots on the front line versus this. And as soon as that shield goes down, there goes the very expensive, very effective sniper bots. Very nice pickup from Special K. And at this point you think, what's Matter 1 doing? There goes down a ping, no doubt from his team, and he does now respond. Clearly attention elsewhere, and that was a very expensive mistake. And that now is given Special K the advantage. Forces Twisty Sauce to move some units over. He's got a very limited force here blocking up the western column. I don't think there's much going to go up there. At least it doesn't look like it. And Special K looking very strong now. He's got a lot more tech too in the mix this time. He's got shields, he's got flat, he's got a shed load of artillery. This is a very strong force. And once again, Twisty moving in on its flank with a bunch of tech too of his own, blazes. And that is a very nice move. That's going to help Team 1 out immeasurably. Meanwhile, we've got a big air engage over on the east side. And it looks like we've got a drop. The air was part of a distraction, it would seem. One of the transports gets shot down. The other one manages to offload a couple of Percies before it gets shot down. I think Detective was lucky to get any off. Clearly the air was primaried, and those Percies going down basically for naught. Maximus had enough stuff in place, static as well as harbs, to deal with. Meanwhile, we've got another attack here from Detective on the north. I don't think there's enough to break through. Maximus looking very strong in the base. We'll have to see if he's able to push that base out. Finally, we do have a Strat Bomber out from Vexy. And it's moving in. Bombs away. Goes after a commander that's under a shield. Surely he's queued up some other target. No, it looks like he's coming back around. Probably not the best use of a strap. Mind you, if Team 1 are slow to respond, we'll have to see. So far, no pings for help. Flies a strap bomb right over a... right over enough interceptors that it goes down. Matter 1 here looking very strong in the air. It looks like Vexy is just not sending in enough units. And Max now moving in. GC as well. And I would like to see him split off a couple of units just to deal with this. It looks like Vexy has just a couple of Tech 1 bombers. And then brings them away. And here we see it. Maximus sends in a solitary unit. That's all it needs. He's a 1500. He knows what he's doing and he's doing it. Meanwhile, looks like Twisty Sauce was able to get a drop on the southwestern island. We said we was going to call it that, and very successful it was. 3 harbs, or at least 3 are left, and looks like Pink Bomber is sending in Tech 1 spam to deal with. Twisty now with an experimental of his own. Couple of restorers out here from Max. Is that going to encourage Matter 1 to send in his air? I don't see why not. And then Max, I thought was initially an attack, decides to bring his army back. Oh, and now he goes in for the attack again. Not sure what Maximus is thinking. Potentially a misclick. And yeah, looks like Pink Bomber's thinking, I don't want anything coming through this side. He's double walled it. He's got SAMs. In fact, I think it was probably one of those SAMs that picked up that stray. Oh no, of course not. It was on the other team, wasn't it? Idiot. So I called myself an idiot in a cast the other day. Somebody very kindly said, "You're not an idiot at all. We enjoy it and you help us to feel human." So I thought that was a really, really nice comment. Whoever that was, thank you very much. Sorry, I can't remember your name right now, but at least I remember what you said. I'm always been shit with names and dates. You know, which king did what, where, when. I hadn't got a clue. But yeah, the comment was very, very nice, and I really appreciate it. You know, every once in a while, as somebody leaves a comment somewhere, and you read it, and you just think, do you know, that's really nice. And like, it's this weird sort of fuzzy feeling inside. I can't quite put, you know, so, you know, if you get 100, you know, I've made, you know, I had a viral video on another channel that had like 20 million views, and do you know what I prefer to that was that comment left by whoever it was on my tiny channel, Caster's channel. So yeah, I really, really appreciate that. Worth more than 20 million views, it really is. By the way, do you know how much that it was a short clip? Best not say. I'd like to share. I will share. One day I will share how much income that one video that was about a minute long made that had 20 million views, but not today. Tech 1 bombers coming in. Flying right over lightning tank. The lightning tank. It's like it's limited by its rate of fire. It's a really good unit. The Walking Sam site. You can see at least versus Tech 1 bomber, the Tech 2 flak is much better. But see Maximus here using restorers to great effect. I don't understand. And looks like Matter 1 is now moving in. He will be able to pick up all those restorers, and he's going to have to, because restorers, once they start balling and clumping up, are very dangerous, and he's got to finish this off, and he does. I'm glad he didn't just withdraw. But it looks like it all comes down to what goes on here. GC versus GC. Both have got units in tow, but it looks like Team 1 playing more like a team. It looks like Maximus realizes it. He's trying to run away, realizes he can't, and that he may as well get as much damage from his GC as possible, rather than trying to run away from a fight he can't possibly win and then just lose anyway. And that has paid off. If you take a look, he's managed to knock down one of the opposing GCs to about half health before going down. And if he'd have run away, Yes, all right, instead of dying here, he would have died here, but he wouldn't have been able to get any health. And I think if we look at the units that are left there, I think that could have gone a lot worse for Max. I think team 2 down here were very lucky to get away with that in the way that they did. Yeah, the enemy GC is still by half health. Yes, they've lost all the reclaim, but there were so many. It looked so heavily outnumbered. Matter 1 here with another bank of sniper bots and quite a large number as well. They're such dangerous units, those. They're like, you know, if you can get close to them, they're pathetic. But if you let a group of them build up, and you don't, especially if you don't know that they're coming and your commander's wandering around, yeah, out of sight, out of mind, and bang, all of a sudden your commander, kind of like getting TML'd from range. It's that sort of a, not a nice thing. But now Max looking very strong in the air. Let's have a little look. Well, looks like he's been gifted over ASF from his team, which is very nice to see. And we've got 3 races here. 4, I beg your pardon. We've got Coronas. We've got the Ayazni, the Seraphim fighter, let's just call it. We've got the Wasp from UEF. And we've got the Gemini's from Cybran. So it's not often you see one guy controlling ASF belonging to 4 races. But you have now. Exciting stuff, I know. And meanwhile, what's the situation over here? 160. Of course, it does make it a little harder to count when it's the ASF are as mixed up as they are. There we see. Add all those. So I'm going to include the Restorers because they're basically as good as anti-air fighters. And it's well over 200 air for the South team. Oh, he's gonna. I thought he was gonna lose that restore. He does realise it, but these sniper bots moving in. They've got anti-air coverage. Now there's a new GC coming in for Max. He does this time have a very large division of Harbs there. I keep zooming out. I keep feeling like something should be happening down here, but it seems to be very safe territory. But we also have a new GC from Twisty Sauce, so it's 1.5 versus 1. Of course, even the most heavily damaged GC still able to put out 100% of the firepower versus one that's brand new out the factory. We've got some Static Tech 3 artillery here, and that I think is the only thing that's preventing this army from hanging around even closer. Son of Abyss says Tech 2 arty incoming. Well, yeah. From beyond the grave, still giving advice to his friends. The only remnant that shows he was still there is this little bit of wall here. Interesting that that doesn't get handed off. I guess it's a wall not technically counted as a unit. And Twisty Sauce producing a 3rd experimental. Not on the line. Pink Bomber has one, and it couldn't come soon enough. Use your GC. Oh my goodness. Maximus, use your GC. He's moving it in. So far out of position for too long. All those Harbs going down. That is a shame. And it just shows that what, you know, it may seem like a simple mistake, but having a GC, 30 seconds out of position, not putting down any damage while your opponents are, well, there's the result. That is a shame. Here we have the fatty from Pink Bomber, and not a moment too soon. GCs look like they're making a beeline for it, and indeed they are. And it looks like Pink Bomber knows what to do, and that is to run away, exploit the range of the fatty. I don't think we've zoomed in on one of these yet, so at risk of upsetting somebody somewhere, let's just enjoy this long-range battering ram. GC's moving in, sucking up shields. Thank goodness they can't suck up Fat Boys. But there goes the Fatty. But I do think that Fatty got a lot done. Shame it wasn't able to live. And now Pink Bomber spamming down point defense. He's got Tech 1 point defense here. He's got a few Ravagers here. He's going for Tech 2 here. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. The Tech 1 point defense is just going to prevent these Harps from outright running over for free. They're going after the strategic missile defense. And it looks like to a large extent Pink Bomber having to bomb his own base. And what little of the base is going to be left. GC very close to going down. It's a 5-star vetted GC this with just 63 kills. 12,000 hit points left, up to a total of 150. Getting 135 hit points a second, but I don't think it's going to be enough. 4,000. It's taking a long time to kill. Looks like Pink Bomber has reassigned priority onto the attacking Harbs. Desperate to keep Vex's air grid alive and loses some of it. GC finally goes down as well as the last of the Harbs. Nice to see Team 2 playing so well together defensively. That could have been a lot worse, I think. But nonetheless, their Twisty Source making huge gains. A 1200 rated. I always really like it when the lower rated players really punching hard, knocking 7 shades of shit out of the opposing higher rated. Kinda like a yellow belt in karate kicking the shit out of a black belt. You know, it's nice to see. And it looks like Team 2 may finally have an answer to this. We'll have to see how much anti-air a Team 1 going to send with, but that donut will be nice to use versus the GCs. There is some anti-air in the mix. We'll have to see if it's enough. We also have a Monkey Lord down here from Vexy, so that is going to play a huge part. Probably the best thing that the Monkey Lord can do is stay out of the direct fire range and use its long-range cannon, at least until the GCs are out of the way. Certainly don't want to send it in by itself. And there's the donut. Looks like first order of business is to prevent... No, there's nothing there. And here we go. Donut moving in. I really like what Pink Bomber's doing, living up to his name. If only the bombers were pink. And yeah, this is what I was fearing with the Monkey Lord. It just strolls into range by itself. I don't think that was needed. He could have kept the Monkey Lord back here, exploited its use of its long-range cannon. And there we see the donut going after one of the GCs. Twisty Source, playing like a pro, realizes he's going to lose this fight, splits his units up so he can hopefully get the other GC back home. I'm not sure if I was Max, would I go after the GC or would I try and hoover up some of these units? And it looks like at least initially he was going to go after the GC and then recognizes this here is perhaps a bigger priority. And I don't blame him. Go on then, go after him. What's it doing? It's shooting at nothing. And Pink Bomber just with the combat air support playing a blinder. Maximus with a huge ASF screen. And on ground, Team 1, you know, would roll, but Oh, we've got an ass washer here from Team 1. Now, Team 1 have got no way, as far as I can tell, to keep this alive. So this is going to be a one-pass wonder. Where's the second bomb? Surely pings must be... Oh! Oh, no! No! Oh, man. Vex's air grid just went up. And Team 2 had complete air dominance. How was that allowed to happen? They'd seen it coming for miles. Son of a bitch says nice. The dead for the no grid for Pink indeed. Pink lost his grid good and proper. Well, Maximus best make good use of his air. Because it's going to be hard to replenish. It looks like the donut goes down. Thanks to a lot of anti-air here belonging to Team 1, ground to air-based fire. And it looks like Maximus thinks, good game, calls it, goes, Pink Bomber goes, and yeah, I think with the air grid going down, there wasn't much left. Is Vexy, it'd be nice to see him to continue. He does have a spider bot, and providing he can hang on to the air grid, I mean, it's not over. Even with Maximus quitting, it's still a 3 versus 3. We'll have to see. And so this is what I'm talking about. Keep the monkey bot at range. Rather than just sending it in to a fight it can't possibly win by itself. And that long range is just able to pick up all this Tech 1 stuff, be they engineers, spam. And it looks like Twisty Sauce sending these in 2 by 2. We've got more experimentals coming behind. Chicken bot and then another GC. Team 2, what have you got to respond? And this time, yeah, lots and lots of Tech 1 anti-air. And again, just feel that's needless going down. I'm not sure if that was the intention to go down or if it was a lack of APM. Now Detective sending in a fatty. And yet another ass washer up here from Matter One. Somebody somewhere is going to hopefully put me right on that name in the comments sections. And again, make sure if you do like this commentary, subscribe to this channel. Don't just assume, oh, I recognize your voice, your style. It's that Games with Brains thing. It was that Games with Brains thing. This is a separate channel. So now make sure, and that again is to avoid, you know, you lot getting notifications for games that you're not interested in, like the submarine stuff, the flight sim stuff. But if you are into that, then stay with the Games with Brains channel as well. The two things are being separated. It's a big mistake I made. Big mistake. For now, I was going to say for now, Team 2 hanging on to air, but no, that must have been the ass washer moving in. Apologies for missing it. Ass washer continues, and it looks like he drops a bomb and Control K's, and somehow Pink Bomber survives. Well, that's down to this massive shield. And Pink Bomber, to his credit, is not giving up. He could have quit, but no, first thing he does is work on a nuke defense. Huge credit to players that don't throw in the towel. I know I always in jest about throwing in the towel, but especially when a game's gone on as long as it has here, coming up to minute 44, as soon as things start collapsing for your side, you just want to leave. And to see players hang on despite unbelievable odds is really nice to see. And so huge props to Pink Bomber, who also played really, really well with the combat air support. And by that, I'm talking about the Tech 1 and Tech 2 bombers that can fire against the ground. And you know what? I'm giving him man of the match. It's Pink Bomber. And again, rating taken into consideration there. The 1100 rated. ACU versus GC. The sole survivor overcharging as he goes. Lasers coming in. He's not giving up. He's fighting to the last shell, the last shot. And he gets the GC. Well, if he weren't man of the match before, he is now. Wow. And these must be under his control. Well, I was all ready to call. They are under his control. I don't think he's got much else. Ass Washer moves in. I'm going to slow time down for this. Here she comes. Doesn't unload, interestingly enough. I was expecting the Ass Washer to unload on the commander. Chicken bots continue to move in. Let's stay creative with the graphics. I normally hate it when casters do this, but you know, we kind of know where this game's going. Let's just enjoy some of the action. We'll resume back to normal time. Son of Abyss asks, did the bomb hit the ASF? Pink Bomber says yes. And now it's Chicken Bot. Pink Bomber says, oh, not that way. Chicken Bot continues to fire. And there he goes. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pink Bomber, man of the match, despite losing it for his team. Rather, I say despite losing his team, lost it. I think for him, he was the last one still there. I hope you enjoyed that. And until next time, wherever in the world you may be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Take care. Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed that one. And yeah, I put this little outro screen. Must remember to fill it in. Hopefully I did. Until then, take care. And I'll see you next time. We will do it over, don't worry. Come closer. Yeah, come closer. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Till then, take care.